Today we're going to demonstrate the field troubleshooting of the Dorma surface vertical rod exit device. Really it doesn't matter if you've got the 9800 narrow style or a 9400 wide style. The adjustments and installation are pretty well the same. First off, I would say mechanically, you have to have the device working mechanically first. This one has also got our MLR motorized latch retraction unit in it, which we will demonstrate the troubleshooting for it as well. Mechanically, right now, if you would walk up to this door, you'd probably say it's working right. Notice I can go out the door latches, and it's latched. But technically, it is not right. What you're going to be looking for is what I check first. Open the door, trip my latch, check for dead latching. I do not have dead latching. So actually, if you did not have a stop, if this was cut out like this is, and there's a way you could get in there, you could actually depress the bolt from the top and get into the building, which the owner is not going to want. So make sure the device is working properly mechanically before you even begin to think about electrically. What I've done on this one is I've killed the electric power to it, and we're going to go through the mechanical adjustments. Requires a Phillips screwdriver, and you would loosen this and make the adjustments. If you do have the electric part of it, and you had it set up like this is, like I said, you would appear to think it's working. Swipe your card or keypad, whatever you're using to control your access. Your bar is going to jump. Reset it, try it again. What the gear drive inside is looking for is home on this, and home on this. The bar is only going in about halfway right now because of the way we have it adjusted. If you had it set up like that in the field, you're going to start getting complaints that it's not holding and staying retracted. Kill my power over here. This is your retaining plate. We remove the retaining plate screw. Requires a number 2 Phillips. I got my rod down all the way now, and as you can see, it's about probably 1/8 of an inch too long. I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise up to shorten it and get it to where it just sits in the saddle of the bell crank. I'm going to go ahead and put my retaining plate back on, and the retaining plate should be setting flush. You have a hole on both sides of the rod and a hole in the mating part in the back of the bell crank. If you miss, you're going to end up sitting crooked, and you're going to put all the load of the rod on the little tail piece of the retaining clip. So make sure that goes all the way in there and all the way through the back. You may end up having to do this, more than one time if you did not get it adjusted right the first time. Secure that down. Now I'm going to check it. I can go out the door, go in the door. I'm going to check for my dead latch. I've got dead latching. I'm going to push in on the bar, make sure it's homed out. This is homed out. And I'm going to reach up here, and the bolt is actually sitting down inside the latch bracket itself, which is the way it should be. If you push back on the tripping lever like it would be up against the strike, and that bolt pops back up anywhere from, I'll say, a 1/16 to an 1/8, and it's sticking up, then you need to go back and readjust your rods, because there's a possibility it'll hang up on the strike going out the door. Once you've got everything adjusted the way it is, we're going to go ahead and turn our power back on to our power supply, swipe our card, and the device is working properly. As long as your time sequence is set, it'll stay retracted all day long until the timer is killed. If you've got that all working good, you're ready to put your cover back on. You got a latch cover, you got your chassis cover. You want to ensure that you're using the proper fasteners. The screws should be an 832 by 1/4 inch. Very easy to lose, very small. If you've got any that are the 3/8 inch in length, you're going to either have to cut them off or request different screws. If you put the 3/8 inch one in the side of the chassis here, both your screws are going to come in and they're going to bite down on your rod. Your rod should flow freely. You should be able to walk up to the door, move freely. If I put these two screws too long in here, they're going to pinch this and then it's not going to want to move. So you want to make sure your rod's working freely. Go ahead and put your cover back on, put your screws back on. What I normally do is start all 4 of them first, and then I'll come back and tighten them all down. Make sure your rod's perfectly in center line with your chassis, and then you can go ahead and install your, if it's on the door, you can go ahead and install your rod guide back onto the assembly. If you would happen to have a door that is over 7 foot, not quite 8 foot, you have 2 options. You can order what we call our ETR rod extender. It comes with a 2-foot rod section, and it's going to come with a threaded plug that you'll thread in about halfway. I suggest putting a little bit of Loctite on it to keep it together. When you tighten them down, you're going to want to measure the difference of what you've got. So if this is for 7 foot, the 2-foot extension would be 9 foot. Measure your difference. You're going to install this onto the top of this rod, so both your rods have threads, and thread that in. You're going to cut the difference off the bottom of your rod. We supply a little drill jig. It's copper in color, silver in color now, I believe. And you'll slide it over the end, and it'll set where you're supposed to pre-drill your hole back in your rod assembly. This would be demonstrating a short rod. The rod can be too long, as we showed on the last demo, or it can be too short. Your complaint is you're swiping your card, your electric bar is dropping all the way down, but cannot get out your door. First thing, try it mechanically as well. Still can't get out my door. That tells me my rod isn't going high enough to push the latch all the way down to clear. You are going to have deadlocking at the top because of the way it's set up. Remove your rod retaining plate. Do not lose your screw. Now we're tripped. We're all the way out. Notice where our bell crank is in relation to our rod. We're about 1/4 inch. The rod should be at least sitting in the saddle of the bell crank. So I'm going to thread it to my left, threads it off of the bolt, lengthens the rod. Thread it till it sits in the saddle. Put my retaining plate back in. And like I said on the last one, you may have to do this more than one time. We're in there. Good there. And now we're retracting. Tripping lever captures the latch. I'm going to hold in on my bar, push back on my tripping lever, and my bolt is down inside of my latch bracket. Comes back. We're deadlocked there yet. Everything should be good. We're going to hook our power back up to our power supply, swipe our card. Didn't quite get it right. Have it just a hair long. Yep. Notice my rod is not sitting in the saddle. I'm a little long. Sure I still got deadlocking? Yep. Try our MLR function. We're good to go. If you get up to an installation with the latches and you notice your rod's got a bind in it a little bit, take everything loose and ensure that this screw right here is a flathead screw. Some of the round head screws have too big of a head on them, and they will actually rub and pinch on the back side of your rod and cause your rod to feel like it's in a bind. Your rod should float freely up and down as they're moving about, just like that is without the rod on it.